Okay, hey everyone. Um, I figured I'd have to give an update eventually about several of my projects, mostly concerning breakthrough and the progression of how that's gonna go this year and how that's affecting the documentary, me, the production time, stuff like that. Because unfortunately, I wouldn't talk about me, but the more things that affect me, the later the production's actually gonna be. So, if you're looking for updates on any of these things, well, here it is. I'm gonna go through Breakthrough first, and then Melee Through a Lens, the podcast, and why it's been so fucking late, and just content in general, and my current situation. Okay. So first, Breakthrough, right? Um, it's been delayed. I think that's pretty obvious by now. Um, I don't know how else to put this, but with the amount of setbacks that we've had just over time, I was really, really, really excited to start shooting in April. And the idea that I had planned was that we were going to come to a Ranbat. Uh, we were going to interview Sora first, then get a Ranbat, kind of for the progression of events up to BAM, and then we were gonna get a GGZ, kind of like a more chill event. It's just something to get a bit more of the community and stuff. All of those plans have obviously gone down the drain because everything's postponed or cancelled due to the progression of COVID-19 and the spread of COVID-19. We're all in our houses. It's like quarantine time, basically. No one is gathering anywhere. Um, I can't think of another way through. Like honestly, like I need to talk. I need to talk to Sora about like the progression of how we're gonna do this as well. But I've talked about it with my producer, and it's like right now it seems like the safest way forward is to wait it out and try not to change too much of the final film. Because when I emailed my lecturers, I emailed them like early in February, right? Because I saw this that it was gonna disrupt our term and disrupt my progression on the film. But their response was like, "Oh yeah, well, classic filmmaker story, like storymaker documentary kind of response is don't hide the problem, lean into it, Add COVID-19 as kind of the story of a documentary, that you've got this big event, and if you're talking about esports, talk about maybe how that can be a little fragile because that can be stopped by any kind of outside factors. Things have progressed since then. COVID-19 is not a small thing, and that is not going to add anything. And in the first place, I didn't want to do it. It's not part of the story that I want to tell. I want the story to be about the community and the energy and the positivity, and I don't want it to be so much about uncertainty and fear, and I don't want to capture any of that in my documentary right now. It's just not. That's the uncertainty that I want to include is whether Sora can beat Spud and nothing else. I want that to be the main tension. And that's the story that I want to tell. I disagree, I guess, with my lecturers about anything else. So the plan for now really hasn't changed too much. We're just going to wait it out. We don't have a definite date. Why we're able to wait so long on this is, now this is a bit leading more into my problems now. My semester, if you don't know, I'm in my final year of honors at Sunburn University, and the whole core unit has been delayed by 6 months, essentially. It's been moved up one semester or moved down one semester. So my semester 1 subjects are being done in semester 2, and my semester 2 subjects are being moved to semester 1 next year, which means I'm going to be graduating late, and I need to stay in this apartment, which is more expensive than I can really afford, but I don't have a choice. I was planning to move out at the end of the year, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case anymore. And that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Like, there's really not a lot to say. I feel bad looking at the GoFundMe, which is currently, I'm very proud that it's raised $1,150. It's just a little short of our final goal. And now that's just money sitting in a GoFundMe account that we don't know what to do with right now. because we can't do anything with it. Nothing that I can responsibly use without feeling awkward. Documentaries are made in post, as we say, so there's not a lot of extra pre that we can do. Extra production, extra kind of like stuff that we can prepare for. We vaguely considered merchandising and shirts, but the math didn't add up, and we ended up scrapping that idea. So, TLDR, breakthrough, it's probably delayed. I need to talk to Sora about it. My hope that I could include some of the competitors that would have come down here for Smash World Tour, it's probably dashed because no one's gonna book for a non-Smash World Tour event that happens in the later half of the year out of nowhere. No one's gonna randomly pay $1,000, $2,000 to come down here from America. Like, no one relevant. I don't think so, at least. Could be wrong. Whoever comes here, I apologize in advance. So that's my situation with Breakthrough. Let's talk about Melee Through a Lens real quick, because I know it's not the most pressing concern right now. With Melee Through a Lens, I actually really wanted to get content out early in the year. With Genesis coming up, I thought that was a really great opportunity. And I had a whole episode lined up about rankings and the international scene and the gap, right? The gap between us and the international scene, us and the American scene, and how important that was, and how international players are affected unduly by that kind of distance. And I was really excited for it, and I even had I still have it in my inbox right now, I have a written interview from Magi about how rankings, at least how she feels rankings work, and, the pros and cons of it and stuff. Maybe not the best person to ask, but as someone who made it onto kind of like snuck onto the 97th rank or something like that in 2018 and then like shot up to top 50, and like how that might have affected her mentality, I thought that was a really interesting perspective to have. Then Genesis came around, and I thought, well, maybe I should wait for Genesis to be over. I want to include the results and talk about that. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit in our podcast. And I came around, and Genesis ended, and I didn't finish up pretty much anything. Phantom came around, and I thought, well, okay, let's delay Melee Through a Lens a little bit. I want to create a tournament rundown, kind of, if you've seen the Turn Down for Walt videos and stuff like that, where they do tournament previews, I wanted to do something like that for Phantom, and I have a whole A4 page of notes just lined up that I was going to talk through. Unfortunately, the brackets were released like 2 or 3 days before the event. I didn't manage to make it in time, and I just wasted more time. And of course, I think you already know what happened next was one of the most exciting events that I was so happy to talk about. You're talking about the international scene. Smash World Tour got announced, and I was like, this is amazing. This could even void some of the concerns that we had about the international gap. Maybe not entirely, but like having people come down here and like having a reason for people to give a shit about Australia and coming down here more. It was so important to me. And within 1 or 2 weeks of my research, when I was hoping to get an interview with Edwin Budding, who had some like skeptical comments about it. He didn't answer in time, that's fine, but then coronavirus happened. And then the Smash World Tour got delayed/cancelled. And then bam. And then slowly everything just kept going on and on and on. And suddenly it didn't feel like it was an episode worth making anymore. So, I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll just release that interview myself in text form. I don't really feel like that's an episode that I want to talk about anymore right now. It's dragged on too long. It's taken too many shifts. And by this point, I don't know how relevant it is anymore. So, who knows? We'll move on. Like, there's other episodes that I can do about legality of different rules. The box, smash box, wobbling, ledge grab limit, stuff like that. Or leadership in a community in terms of top players versus top TOs. There's a lot of other subjects, and if you guys have, by the way, if you guys have any like ideas for stuff like that, I'd be down to listen. I'm kind of running out of ideas right now. Yeah. So if you're looking for breakthrough or MTAL stuff, that's pretty much all the updates, and you can feel free to click off the video. The rest of it's just gonna be a little bit about me, I guess. In the last few weeks, I don't know how to explain how demotivated I've become because of breakthrough being set back, of Melee Through a Lens being set back, of my lack of work ethic, not being able to come out with videos in time. And now I'm in a situation where I have a little bit of university work, but not my biggest passion projects, which is breakthrough. And when I came to work on my own personal projects, like analysis and editing, I found that I'm just not in a great mindset for it right now. I open up the editor, I open up my shit, and I'm like, I'm not sure I want to do this. And I didn't realize like I was gonna be so affected by quarantine. I spent half my time in here. I spent like 90% of my time fucking calling my girlfriend in here and stuff, and instead of doing my own shit. I didn't think quarantine would affect me this much, but I'm currently in a situation where I'm not excited about things, and maybe I really hope that I'll come back soon because there's so much more that I really want to do, but I just don't have the energy for it anymore, and I'm gonna take some time to hopefully recover and rejuvenate myself and come back stronger, because I promised myself for sure this year is going to be the year of content, the year of not giving any more excuses. And you know, it's not started off well. This video is basically an excuse for the last 3 months, and I don't want that to be the case. So that's my update. I hope I can come back on the train soon, and I really hope COVID-19 gives us all a fucking break soon. Bye.